Quitting Instagram was by far the best decision that I made for my business in 2024. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why that is, what happened next, and why it's something that you should consider too if you're finding Instagram is just killing your motivation to create content. Hey, I'm Shirley, camera confidence, video marketing, and visibility coach, and welcome to my channel. This is the latest in the 90 days to 10K challenge on LinkedIn and YouTube, which is the challenge that I launched when I left Instagram, because obviously we need to be somewhere to market our businesses. And what I'm really hoping to accomplish, and if you stick with me in this video, is to explain the case for not being everywhere, for being really strategic about the channels that you show up on to make sure they align with your goals, they align with your style, and that they really feel like something that's not such a heavy lift for you. So I'm going to start with the decision about why I left Instagram in the first place. And this one's a tough one for me to be honest about, but this YouTube channel is all about me pulling back the curtain and really telling you what's going on inside my business. It wasn't all pretty roses and sunshine. This is actually the first video that I'm releasing in about a week because I fell off my own cadence of posting. And I'm going to talk about why and what I did instead. And then I'm just going to leave you with some thoughts, with some strategies that you can try in your own business if you decide to leave Instagram, and how you can make sure that it is the best decision for your business and that it helps to drive results, move things forward, and most of all, just lift that weight off your shoulders that you feel when it comes to content creation. Because let's face it, it's a hungry beast. Whether you're on YouTube, on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you are, the beast is always hungry. It's like a newborn baby that just keeps needing you to feed it again and again and again. And those of you moms in the audience know what I'm talking about. So how do we make it feel less heavy? How do we make content creation fun again? Because that's truly what I discovered when I left Instagram. So let's get into it. First of all, I just want to clarify what I mean when I say quit Instagram. If you logged on to my Instagram right now, you would see an Instagram profile, have about 400 followers at the time of this recording, which, by the way, grew quite a bit after I quit. I don't post content on there anymore unless it's something that I created for another place. So when I do my podcast, for instance, and I have clips from my podcast, I'll put them up on Instagram. I'll put a caption on. Occasionally I go into my stories, but I feel like that's also a little bit disingenuous if I've left Instagram because I don't want to confuse people. But it does serve a purpose sometimes because people still DM me on Instagram. Oddly enough, when people find out that I left Instagram, they go follow me on Instagram, which is kind of a bit of a confusing thing for me, but I still do check in every once in a while. So when I say I left Instagram, what I mean by that is I don't put time into content creation specifically for Instagram. I don't worry about Instagram. I don't try to drive people to Instagram intentionally, although curiosity, people are like, ooh, I wonder why she left Instagram. I'm going to go check her on Instagram. So it's all about, it doesn't occupy space in my brain. It's not something that I wake up thinking about, like, oh, I got to post on Instagram. So that's what I mean when I say I left. It's not that I will never go on there again. It's just that it's not something that I use in my business to promote my offers, to build my audience, to talk to my audience. But the ironic thing is that my audience has grown a lot on Instagram relative to itself. Remember, the only growth that matters is the growth that's relative to your own numbers, right? And it has kind of exploded, which is the first way that quitting Instagram was the best thing for my business because it finally started growing my Instagram, which is, anyway, if you have comments on that, leave them below because isn't that weird? Now that we've talked about what leaving or quitting Instagram means, I want to get into some of the reasons of why I quit Instagram. The first is that it just didn't feel aligned for me. I'm a camera confidence, media exposure, visibility coach, and the style of reels that is really taking off on Instagram right now is the quick, put text up, don't speak to camera. I know some people do speak to camera and get great results, but it just didn't work for me. When I was over there trying to put all this thought into creating my content, yes, people watched my videos, they liked it. I got clients from Instagram, But the actual creation of those videos felt so heavy. It felt so out of alignment, and it felt almost disingenuous for me to be on there telling people to develop their camera confidence, have a great message, get good at video storytelling and delivery, when I wasn't myself putting that kind of content on Instagram. And there was just this disjointed feeling I had about it, and I'm sure that came across in the content and in the energy I was showing up with. I woke up worrying about what I was going to post on Instagram. Even when I tried to batch my content, as I encouraged my own clients to do, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like it was coming from a place of authenticity, which is one of the values that I preach in my business. I want people to be authentic. I want my clients to feel like they are showing up as the best version of themselves. And I just didn't feel that I was doing that. I also didn't feel that the return on investment, both monetary and the time that I was putting in, the mental and emotional energy that I was putting in, the return just wasn't there. And I found myself spending so much time comparing myself to other people, doing that, scroll myself and getting lost and losing so much of my life and precious time on the platform. And it made me feel really bad about myself, which is something that I'm trying to help clients with. And so doing something that really went against everything I was trying to help other people with and shaking my own confidence on that platform just didn't serve me or my business or my goals or anything well. So leaving was this huge sense of relief. I felt this weight being lifted off my shoulders, and it really did make such a difference, not just in how I literally felt on a day-to-day basis, but the gusto and the energy and the enthusiasm that I then drove to create content on the other platforms that I decided to focus on, which are LinkedIn and YouTube. So how was quitting Instagram the best thing for my business? What happened next? Well, the first thing I can say is that suddenly I felt a creative freedom that I had not felt since I started my business. I felt like I could finally start making the videos that I wanted to make. I felt like I could put my own teachings into practice on these other platforms. The messaging, what to say, how to say it in a different way that wouldn't have gotten views on Instagram, but got me lots of views and engagement on the other platforms, which are LinkedIn and YouTube. And if you've been following along in this challenge, in the first little while that I started the 90 days to 10K challenge on LinkedIn and YouTube, which is to get to 10K followers, subscribers, whatever metric you measure, in the 90 days between the two platforms. I tripled my YouTube subscribers just in the first 2 weeks, which was mind-boggling to me. And if you're looking at my YouTube channel right now thinking, oh, she's only got a few hundred subscribers, yes, I have a few hundred subscribers, and each and every one of you is a person who is watching my videos, who is learning, who is engaging, and that is something to celebrate. So another thing that I realized is I started to let go of this grip I had on numbers and vanity metrics, which is another thing that I really try to help clients with, to stop focusing on the number and more on the quality of engagement, of conversations, of people who are coming into your world and connecting with you and wanting more. So that was another thing I noticed, is that never mind the number of people, and the following on both platforms has increased quite a bit since I started the challenge, but the quality of engagement, the people commenting, all of you who are leaving comments on my YouTube, and they're like, not just love this heart emoji, but like, hey, following along, keep up the great work, I'm so inspired. Oh, all of these comments that people give you really help to feed your soul and nurture you and make you feel like what you're creating is actually resonating with people. Because what's the point of doing it if people aren't watching and learning and creating alongside you? So creative freedom, connections with my audience, really big growth on YouTube and LinkedIn, which are the platforms I was focusing on. Because I wasn't spending so much mental energy trying to smear my content or spray and pray my content all over all of these platforms without a strategy, I actually have a strategy now that I am following. It's slow, It's steady, and I've had to eat a lot of humble pie with that 10K number. I haven't changed it because I was like, that's what I started with, and I'm going to keep that really dreamy number. Even though I'm saying I don't want to focus on vanity metrics, we do need some kind of benchmark that we're working towards. Setting a goal is a great thing, but I'm not attached to that goal. And we're about halfway through the challenge. So I think this is about 45 days in, or maybe a bit less. And right now, as of this recording, I'm at just about 2,000. Right? So I'm almost a quarter of the way there, which is great. And the way that I'm going, the rate that I'm going into the holidays, 10K, unless one of my videos really blows up and explodes, probably won't happen, but that's okay because I want to leave that 10K number there as that dream, that idea of what we're working towards, what I'm working towards, and perhaps what you're working towards too. And we can continue to do that into the new year. If you're watching this video in 2025 or beyond, this is where I'm at right now as of this recording, November 2024. Something that I've been really, really inspired by in my YouTube journey has been watching other creators who are not polished, who are just learning themselves, who are sharing along the way. And those are the types of videos that I find myself binging. So let me know in the comments, are you more interested in the packaged kind of content, or do you just want to hear me talk? Just reflecting, vlogging, really letting you in on what's actually going on, because that's something that I'm also learning and iterating on as I'm doing this challenge and as I'm connecting with many of you, because I want to connect with you. I don't just want to create videos and have you watch them. I want to know who you are. What are you working on? How can I help you? And how can we grow together? Because that's really one of the fun things about this challenge, is meeting other people and having a community relationship where we cheer each other on, where we can learn from one another, and we can really make this something that is more than just, passive consumption of content, and more about really improving ourselves as we go along. Another way that quitting Instagram has really exploded my business is that it's created clarity in my business. It has helped me better understand what it is that I am trying to help people with, how exactly I can do that. And this has come through working with a lot of entrepreneurs and coaching them one-on-one on camera confidence, messaging, visibility, getting booked on podcast media, all of that. But how do we get to that point? And I get asked all the time on my calls, well, what platform should I be focusing on? And for some people, it's YouTube. For some people, it's LinkedIn. For some people, it's Instagram. And that's great. And it works for them. I'm never on calls being like, everybody should quit Instagram. That's not true. You should be on Instagram if it's the right vehicle to put your videos out there and really grow your business. For me, it wasn't that. This is a better vehicle for me than Instagram. And LinkedIn is as well, because I work with other businesses. But the clarity that I've gotten from just letting Instagram go and focusing on the long form content, on, showing people how you can go on camera and speak for a long time and engage people. It really just makes me come from a place where I really have a lot more to offer and a lot more clarity for my existing clients who want to do this same thing, who want to go on media, who want to go on podcasts and stages. Well, it's great to have this big Instagram following where your, short form videos are getting people's attention. But what happens when you get the people? When you get the clients? You need to still go on that webinar and crush it. You need to get on that podcast and have a crisp message, deliver it well, speak with confidence. What happens when you get on that stage? You need a plan to crush that speaking engagement. When you're going into meetings, even if you're not, say, a business owner and you're watching this because you want to learn more about public speaking and confidence. So being on these platforms has really helped me have that clarity of, this is the type of client that I'm working with. This is my audience, and this is what I can truly help them with, because these are the gifts that I can share with the world in a better way on these other platforms where my audience is more in tune with receiving that kind of value and that kind of information from me as a creator. So I want to share some lessons that I've learned that hopefully can help you on your journey. If you're still watching at this point and you want to know, okay, great. So whether it's quitting Instagram or quitting LinkedIn or quitting Facebook or just figuring out what is the platform for you, I wanted to leave you with some information about, okay, so what do you do now? The first is, as I've been saying, focusing on the platforms that work best for you. Take some time to really clarify your ideal client. And I know you hear this all the time, but your ideal audience, your ideal client, where do they hang out? And not just where do they hang out, because they probably hang out in a lot of places, but what mindset do you want them to be in when they're consuming your content that leads them to the most likely result, which is investing in your offers, hiring you as a coach, investing in services or products that you're offering? What mindset do they have to be in? Because for me, people on Instagram are there to be entertained. It's more of a passive kind of thing. Whereas if they go on LinkedIn, they're more in that kind of business buying mindset for the type of service that I provide. If you're someone who is selling, a product, or you're a travel influencer, or you maybe are in the health niche, or you have some kind of niche that people in their leisure time are consuming, then maybe Instagram is the best place for you, because that's where people are most likely to be looking up makeup tips or great places to travel or, workouts that they can try. It really does depend on your niche. So ask yourself, where do my people hang out? Where do I have to reach them? And how do I have to speak to them on that specific platform? What works on that platform for them to really, truly have my content resonate with them? One of my pet peeves is when people say I resonate with. It's actually not correct. It resonates with me, but that's a side note. The other thing is quality over quantity. There's lots of advice out there that's like, just go, just put the content out, just show up, just go, just go. And yes, there is a little bit to that. Bad videos will help you grow, but you also don't want to intentionally put out crap. And so one of the things that I've had to do when I talk about eating humble pie in my own challenge, I set a really ambitious schedule for myself of posting every Monday and Thursday for my 90 days to 10K content. And then I was still putting out a podcast on Tuesdays and shorts and. And then I decided to run a 5-day challenge called Sizzle Reel School right in the middle. Well, you know what happened? If I'm being honest, I totally burned out. I couldn't keep up with the pace. But then I had to face a choice. Do I put out something anyway, just to meet what I had set for myself as the cadence and consistency that I had said I would do? Or do I just not put something out and wait until I had something better to put out? And here's the thing that I realize about my audience, and one of the values that I have as a creator is I don't want to waste your time ever. And I don't want to put something out that is a waste of your time and that I don't feel good about putting out there. So I made this decision to just not publish on certain days where I just couldn't muster it. I didn't. Did anybody notice? Tell me in the comments. Did you notice that I didn't post on Monday? But when I do post, it's going to be something valuable and worth your time and something that I truly put my soul into. So that's another thing that I've had to learn, is that quality over quantity, and consistency is so important. Yes, but once you put up videos, unless you take them down, they live there forever. And so be respectful of your audience's time and understand that if you want people to come and sit down and spend time with you, you want to make it worth their while. Even if you're still growing and getting better, you definitely want to make sure that it's something that you are proud to put out, even if you know you have room to grow. The other thing is trust your gut. I have been working with a coach for my YouTube channel, and sometimes I get advice where it doesn't quite feel aligned, and maybe I'll do something that I think I should do, or I see other creators doing. We all fall into that trap, and I'm no different. So I've noticed that when I've departed from what my gut tells me to do, my results do suffer. And I've noticed that with views. I've noticed that with subscribers. I started with this real passion for what I was going to do. And I went out there and I just created things that I felt I should create. And I followed my gut. And then there was a point where I stopped doing that because I started being like, okay, well, what's the strategy and how do I grow and what should I do? And I started to listen to so many other people and I stopped listening to myself. And you know what happened when I did that? My growth stalled on both platforms. So right now, today, I am going to start to tap back into that passion and that vision that I had when I started this challenge to really bring you that value of both platforms and how am I growing and being honest about it and bringing that vlog style to it. So let me know if that's something that you appreciate. Did you like more of the polished kind of content? Again, I just really would love to know that from you. This has been such a great experience, and I really want to reflect on where it all began. So if you want to go back to that video to kind of compare notes and see where it started and where I am today so you can see how this is evolving, check out this video. It's where it all began, it's where I declared my intention, and it's the video that kicked everything off. So I'm excited to continue in this challenge, and I'm so grateful that you're here along with me. Don't be a stranger. Let me know who you are, leave me a comment, and let me know how I can keep in touch with you and follow what you're doing.